Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another freestyle game dev Q&A AMA. My name's Kevin. We do this twice a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. And the whole idea is it's kind of like office hours. I hang out, answer questions about Unreal, game dev, Maya, all that kind of stuff. Why do I do this? I work in games professionally. I'm lucky enough to get to do that. But, and you know, where I can help, I will help, but mostly this is about learning together. So the idea is that as many cool things as I get to do at work, there's a lot of cool things I don't get to do. And so this is a chance for us to kind of stumble through those together and have some fun doing it. In the absence of questions, or if nobody's here, we are basically just working on our own game live. We're just kind of streaming, stumbling through the live stuff. Now, with that, right now I went back through, I didn't see any questions for since last time. And so we're gonna hop right back into our game where we are working on health bars and the Lyra project, trying to get our enemies set up with health bars and things like that. So we'll hop right back into that. And since there's nobody here to help remind me, I'm going to make sure I actually stream the screen again. And will continue beating myself up over that mistake. And here we go. All right, and we also have our chat up, which is good. Okay, so we have made some progress since last time, although we definitely have hit a few bumps in the road. So let's, it's actually kind of fun, and this is a common problem I've seen, and so let's kind of take a look at what we ended up doing to kind of get a health bar shown up. So I need to go back in time real quick and show you the health bar. So I have a health bar showing up on the hero, not the hero, on the enemy now. And you can still see I'm still in the middle of debugging all this. It's not like you missed much at all, because I'm still in the middle of debugging this. So I still have my prints in here. What I've done is on the shooter mannequin, I'm adding a health bar. For some reason, and there's a couple of things about this. For some reason, when I added it over here, it went wonky. I haven't really figured that out yet. But the other problem with it was adding it to both heroes and or both the player and the enemies. And I didn't want that, because we would have had double health bars on the heroes. We would have had to hide one, etc. So just as a sanity check right now, and this is not ultimately the way I may do this, what I'm doing is I'm checking if our owner is an AI controller, and if it is, I'm saying, hey, enemy, and then I'm adding the widget. Now, for a while, I struggled with this, and let me hopefully save you some time. What I was doing was I was getting this widget, and then I was trying to do all kinds of stuff, setting various pieces of it and all that kind of stuff. Dude, it turns out it's way easier than that. When you pick this add widget, all of the stuff is right here, what you're adding. So you just gotta make sure you look for it. It's really kind of weird compared to some of the other stuff in Unreal, but what I've done is this widget class is the widget that you're gonna spawn. And the other quick note is that right now I have this in screen space, so it's always facing the character. There are other ways to handle this, but for now, let's just go with that. So if it's an enemy, we're going to add this widget. And let's just go ahead and take a quick look at that. So you can see now our enemy has a health bar. I think ultimately we're probably going to change this. We'd like to make this a lot smaller, I think, and also just in general shrink down the shield size and stuff like that. Now, I managed to break a bunch of stuff, and this is where we get into the fun. So I guess, yeah, let's just start the fun. You'll notice when I shoot this dude, the health bar doesn't change. Not the health, nor like nothing about it. The health or the shield, none of it changes. Why is that? Whoa, wait a second. Stand in front of this. Oh wait, I just got shot and his health bar matches my health bar. Let's do that again. So the dude's health bar is going down when I get shot. And also, you'll notice that our health bar is not registering anything above 100. So somehow in there, I broke that too, because it used to do that based off the normalized health, I thought. But the big pain here is, why is this dude's health bar only updating when my health gets hit? And so this is the thing that we are trying to troubleshoot right now. So, with that, this is the thing that's weird about this. We know we're only adding it to the enemies. I can take this print out. We don't need that anymore. Okay. We're actually adding. I thought this was a unique instance of the health bar. And so let's just take a quick look through here. Layers, rendering, component replication. Sure, let's replicate it. That just means that it's going to play. We're not really testing the replication right now, but basically that just means that it should replicate down to the client if the client in a network situation, right? So is it playing on the server or not? Yeah, so look at that, still busted. B shooter mannequin. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. All right, so that's that. So we're adding the component. Now let's take a closer look at our component. And let me try to explain what I think is happening. There's a couple possibilities. Either the health bar component we are putting on this character isn't really a unique widget. I called it component, it's actually a widget. Either it's not a unique widget, it's like an instance of the same widget. So it's getting all the same calls and everything like that. So when we call effect shield or whatever, it does it for both. Or what is happening is the materials that are assigned to the shields and everything like that are actually not unique material instance dynamics. They're the same one. And so I've seen this happen before. This happened once at work when we set it up for some reason. I wonder if that's a spider bite. Anyways, it was one of those things where when you would shoot a character, if one character had a shield, all of the character shields would flash. And so, and that happened to be a material instance dynamic situation. So, what do we got going on in this mess of prints? Basically, I'm grabbing the owning player, I'm getting the AI controller. If it is, I'm getting the display name, and I'm appending and I'm printing, right? So this is happening on construct, right? So when we start the game, let's go back and let's change this to 5 seconds. So when we start the game, we get two bunch of pound signs. Well, that doesn't tell us anything. And our display name is nothing. Interesting. So either the owning player is not, there is no owning player, which is a possibility. It's definitely a whatchamacallit. It's definitely an enemy because we're casting to an AR. Whoa, no, we're not. Oh, we're casting to a Lyra player controller. I see. I must have been in the middle of this before I quit out. Okay. So if that's successful, which we know it is, let's see if we can cast that to an AI controller. See if we get any. Okay, it never thinks that it's an AI controller, so change this back. Okay. Lyra player controller. So it prints Lyra player controller twice. So we have the Lyra player controller. That's the owning player. So this, okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Like, get the owning player. This is going to return. This event is only for cosmetic, non-gameplay actions. Can we get the owner? Control pawn. Set members. We can get the control pawn. Get the AI controller. Get player controllers. Get player controller from object. That's interesting. But I don't know if this is gonna work anyways. We'll get a reference to self. I doubt this is gonna return anything. Let's see. We know owning player isn't helping us. That's weird. Actually, even though that does... So what's possible is that what's happening is the hero, when this code comes in, gets the owning player. And then what happens is the enemies, the only player that's here is the hero as well. And so it's also getting the same player as part of this. That could be another thing that's happening. That didn't print anything, so... This didn't work. Get display name. Cast a Lyra, so that didn't work. Lyra player controller. So with the Lyra player controller, get control. Can we get the control pawn? Get controlled pawn. Okay, let's print that display name. Nothing and be hero share mannequin. Okay. So what's happening now is... Oh, I didn't know I could duck. So what's happening now is we have the controlled pawn. This we can cast to an AI controller BP. Is that true? What does that say? I can always be. Oh, okay. It just does not inherit from pawn. So get AI controller with the AI controller, we can cast that like that. And let's just assume. So either the cast is failing or get the controlled pawn. How are we doing this? If the owner is a controller. So there's a player controller, there's the controlled pawn. With the controlled pawn. Oh, maybe we can just cast this straight. Or wait, does that not? Was that back to our warning? That's back to our warning. Yeah, controller returns. Are we even getting here? We have to be. Yes. So our controlled pawn here is Lyra player controller 0. And we're not gonna get anything there. And then this one is be hero shooter mannequin. But it doesn't have, you're telling me it does. So either it's not possessed yet at this point, or cannot call Unreal Script. Oh well, stopped at breakpoint. This is on construct. So maybe the problem is our character isn't fully built yet. Like, does our AI even exist when this thing gets built yet? I gotta think it does, because what happens is we get the owner, we cast, oh here we go. This is what we can do. We can do this. We can put a breakpoint here, and then back here, actually if we put this all back in, oh wait, come on. We should hit the breakpoint for in the health bar widget first. Apparently we've got an error. Oh yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do. Oh whoa, it hit the health bar breakpoint first. Oh, that makes sense, because this is the Lyra character, the player. Okay, so now this is the enemy. We know that our AR controller is valid, because when we get the owner here is it is an AI component. So that has to be true, and then we get this. So that's weird. The interesting thing is that's player controller 0. Player controller 0. E hero shooter mannequin C0. Somehow that is none. That doesn't make any sense. So What's weird to me is these names aren't unique. This name here. The owner of this character. Self. Yeah, so this happens when we get possessed. So, okay, so this doesn't make any sense. So this has to be possessed. Get owner. Get parent. I want to know what this parent is. The parent should be a mesh. Get player controller from object. And this time I'm going to this way. And the object I'm using is probably the collision capsule. See if we hit this. Okay. We've proven that execute order is. Okay, so that's not even hitting that breakpoint. Oh, what's our display name? What is the parent of this thing? Canvas panel 0. That doesn't help us. Canvas panel 0. Wait a second. You know what? There's another way to potentially do this. To make sure, to make absolutely sure that the character we're looking at is the one that we want to look at. And so what we can do is, I think, here, what we can do is inside this, let's create a variable. We're gonna try this because right now we're just kind of, let's see here. Player, no, character. Pawn maybe? Character pawn? And it's not gonna be a widget. It's going to be a Lyra. A Lyra character. Object reference. Let's try this. Let's try this Lyra character. Okay, and we're gonna make this instance editable. Expose on spawn. And private transient. Deprecate. I want to just see something. Okay, so compile that, save that, and then let's go back to this one right here. And what I want to do is I want to cast to health None. Let's do health. Health bar. Nope. Add a widget. Let's remake this and see if it rebuilds its UI. Manual attachment. Here's our transform. I think this was our target. And we're gonna make this the health one. 150, 250. Okay. We don't have that. Set. That's player state. Man, we are struggling with this. What a... You know, I was thinking about this. Nothing in Lyra is easy. This is literally stuff that you did in the twin stick shooter tutorial. You added health bars, you did these things, and it was great. But I gotta say, so far nothing here is easy. I'm trying to figure out how to set this variable. It's instance editable. It's exposed on pawn. Wow, I can't even see the events for this thing. I was hoping that we could set the event for this widget. But all right, I want to see something here. If I add a widget here, I kill this. I change the widget to the health bar. And I compile this. I don't see anywhere to set. I don't see anywhere to set the variables that we just made. Even though those variables are all supposed to be. Exposed on spawn, so it doesn't matter whether it's here or here, we still can't seem to do what we need to do. Oh, come on, Lyra, help us out. Get the owner. Gets the player controller associated with this UI. Well, if that's the case, I should just be able to, let's clean this up. Because it is supposed to be a AI controller for the case of the enemy. I probably have an error I introduced. Or possibly we're going to crash. And that is, oh no, we do have an error. Here we go. Let's go again. It's not even going in here. These are both Lyra player controllers. Getting the controlled pawn. So the control pawn is the one that should be our hero shooter mannequin. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to, feeds into here. So we should get one green print this way. But we don't get any of it. Because with the control pawn is to be shooter mannequin. Get the AI controller. Theoretically, we get a green one. Nope. Dude, I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't... How frustrating is that, man? Like, we've got the controlled pawn. The controlled pawn has to be this be hero shooter mannequin. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually, because this is what? Nothing prints, and we don't get. Oh, how frustrating is this? It's literally like, I hope this is all worth it in the end. Loster, welcome back. I didn't even see you hop in. You know, it's a good call. The thing about it though is we know that it's hitting this point, because if it wasn't, the HWZ, this cast would be invalid already. So we actually know that it's actually hitting this because it won't even create the widget unless the AI controller is valid. So when we come in, I know our AI controller is at least valid. All right, so then we have our valid controller and we're adding the widget to this self. In this case, this is our shooter mannequin, which is a, what is this? Be hero default, which inherits from, if we go back to this, character default. So this all inherits from a character, right? So we know that that's valid. And then, where were we? Okay, so we know that's valid. Then we add the widget. So when we're adding the widget, we already know that the AI controller is supposed to be valid. So when I come in here this is the construct. We have a construct, we have a health change. Do we have a begin play? Begin. No, which I don't think we have begin play for widgets. So at this point, when we go to construct, we should be attaching to the are we attaching to the mesh? What are we attaching to? We don't need this anymore. We are attaching to self, which is a character. Interesting. Yeah, be hero, shooter, mannequin. Okay, so from self, so from whatever we've attached to, which is a trick, like how do we get... Yeah, so if we do this, we're gonna come through here twice. I'm with you, let's go, because maybe just talking through it. So the first time I'm not gonna stop because, well, all right, let's stop. The owning player in this case is the Lyra player controller 0, right? And the controlled pawn is none. Reason being, I believe, is because this is the player, right? And so there is no AI controller, so it's not even gonna do this, it's gonna skip out, right? Now, the next time through, so this is now the second time through, this one should be our, AI. And so our owning player here is also a Lyra player controller. But when we get our controlled pawn this time, you'll notice that it's B hero shooter mannequin. Okay, so that's true. So B hero shooter mannequin is what it's supposed to be. Then when we get the AI controller from B hero shooter mannequin, we're getting none. So either the AI controller hasn't hopped in yet, or actually that's, maybe the AI controller hasn't taken control yet. Let's cast this to hero shooter mannequin. And we can test this, because if it's true, we're going to print the string and we'll print out the display name. Okay, so now what we're doing is the first time through, we can get rid of this breakpoint. Let's just see what prints. It only prints one B hero shooter mannequin, which is what we wanted, which is what we were expecting. Okay, so the B hero shooter mannequin is good. Maybe we can get our controller from here. Get AI. Yeah, nope. I don't want to set it hidden. Nope, I don't need aim assist. How did I get all that? Get AI. Get an AI controller is there. Get an AI controller class. What do you think? Should we try this one? Let's try to get AI controller. Okay. And then we will cast that AI controller to this. And then we will, sure, why not? Let's print this string. No green, doesn't print green. So how is it that back here we are casting here? Okay, here, let's do this. Let's print this string. Let's get the owner, this target actor, because print string. Here's what I want to know. I want to know what this owner, what it thinks this owner is. It should be, the only thing it can be is an HWZ AI controller, because otherwise we wouldn't even come in here. But let's just play the game. Okay, we're gonna get the display name on this. Get the display name, and we're going to print that for, hey, come back, 4 seconds. Hot pink. All right. So what I'm expecting to see is some kind of HWZ AI controller in hot pink. HWZ AI controller BP. totally there. Okay, so the parent or the owner of this B Hero Shooter mannequin isn't. Oh, wait a second. This is B Hero Shooter mannequin. Let's get the owner. You gotta be kidding me. Not honor. Get owner. Owner. Get owner. Then we'll cast that to. Let's. No, we're not even gonna cast AI. We're gonna cast straight to HWZ. So do we get pink and green now? No, we don't get green. I don't. What? Oh. Okay. So back here, the owner is being cast. The owner of this B Hero Shooter mannequin is successfully casting to an AI controller BP and printing. This should be the same owner, man. Like, we're getting the owner. Oh, but there is no display name. Yeah, but the thing is though, we didn't even print a green box. See, it's not printing any green. I don't. But the thing is, okay, we'll try that. So here's get the owner, get the AI controller, and then cast that. The problem is, I didn't have to do that in the pawn. Nothing. See, that doesn't make any sense. Owner is an actor. Yeah. So this is why this is weird to me. Okay, I know I get exactly, dude. Thanks for hopping in and helping me walk through this. The owner in this case is an actor, right? And then to your point, we get the controller from that, and then we try to cast it. But the thing that's weird to me is back here in B Shooter Mannequin, the owner of this is an actor, supposedly, that we're casting to an AI controller that is successful. So it can't just be that. Oh, but look. Oh, but look. We're adding the widget. We're adding the widget to self. We're getting the owner of self. We're adding the widget to, so we're adding the widget to the B Hero Shooter mannequin. And we're getting get owning player. Get owning player. Okay. Can we get the owner of that? Ooh. Okay. Disconnect this. Okay, so we're gonna get the owning player. We're gonna get the owner of the owning player, which is super weird for me. And then we're gonna cast that to an AI controller. And then if that succeeds, my God, man. Like, pick your list of expletives. So frustrating. The owning player is a target widget. My concern, here's my concern, okay? Is that my concern? Yeah, this is my concern. My concern is the owning player is, this is getting the player controller, right? And we don't want the player controller. We want because the player controller is the person playing, and it's like I feel like what this is actually doing is it's actually getting the player, not the This is where I'm sometimes it's like calling these things players or not is kind of tough. So get owning player pawn. Right, but the problem, well, we can plug it in. So if we get the pawn, maybe we can try getting the owner from that. We'll just plug it into everything and see which one works. I love this play. Okay, we didn't get any green there. Okay, so then let's redo what we did here. We'll get the AI controller off that. Nothing. No green. No bueno. Let's get the controlling pawn and cast it straight. We'll skip all this stuff. Yep, nothing. That's always gonna fail. So we have literally plugged this into everything. Now here's why I think this is failing. Because this isn't actually getting the character. This is actually getting the player. This is me, right? The person who's actually playing. And so what's happening is when we're getting the player, we're not getting the player this widget's attached to. We're getting the player, the actual person who's playing his pawn, which is not what we want. So that's why I'm like, if I can get get parent. That's gonna be see, this is why what I wanted to do was I wanted to create the variable for the character and set this. But I can't seem to do that. Add event. Add custom event. Set play set pawn, for example. And then what we're gonna do is in here we're going to set the Lyra character to be whatever we pass in. And in this case, we're gonna add an input called Lyra character. Lyra character object reference. And that's all that's gonna do, it's gonna set. So now all we need to do is figure out how to call this set pawn after we spawn the widget. So in here, this is the widget component object reference. But I can't get that. I can't get that because it doesn't know I have that. Oh, you think so? Okay, alright, I like it. Let's compile and save the widget. Ooh. What is this? Illegally references. You may only reference assets from engine content. Hold on a second. Okay, fine, let's just disconnect this. We'll disconnect this. Let's just disconnect all this and assume that what we're gonna do is gonna work. Compile. Save. Dropbox. Health bar illegally references HWZ AI controller. You may only reference assets from engine content. Lyra example content. Lyra external to. Oh. Is this a gameplay? Is this a plugin frameworks thing? Interesting. Okay. So I can't cast this new widget to a health component, so that doesn't help me. And in this health bar, There's supposed to be, in here I have this Lyra character set to, even this is exposed on spawn, etc. This dude, yeah, set pawn. Set pawn. And I've tried remaking this, so if I add a widget, because sometimes Unreal does this, when the first time you make it, when you actually set this value up here to health, that's when all the variables show up. But nothing. Man. Yeah, I can't get set pawn off this. If I remove context sensitivity, see, widget component object reference is not compatible with W health bar object reference. So that's why cast to W health bar. Interesting. Set pawn to self. Dude, if this works, this is going to be amazing. Compile. Warning. W health bar does not inherit from widget component. Context sensitive. Okay, fine. Let's see if this works. Widget. Widget class. W health bar. I mean, this is just nuts, dude. So nuts. Alright. Cast to. See, you can't cast it. Class. Oh my god. W health bar is what? A user widget. Is that the problem? No, it doesn't seem to be letting me do that. Right? So this is, even if I just drop that widget in, even if I drop that widget in like this, it doesn't work. I can't get it. Here's a health bar component, actually. This is also a user widget. Did we like accidentally get this is a user widget. If I just create a widget, is it a user widget? A widget blueprint. Okay, here's a user widget. This inherits from what? User, it's still user widget. So, and all this is, so the interesting thing about this is, all this is us trying to get access. This isn't even the actual problem we're trying to work on. But I think this is the core of it. This is a UMG user widget. There's gotta be some... It's on possess change. So the interesting thing is, these, oh. Where was that? On shield change from the health component. The health component's valid. Wait a minute. I'm thinking. That reports the damage event. We need to separate these health bars, man. Because here's the thing, this health changed is definitely being called. And oh, but whose health change is it being called for? Okay. Here's another thing. Let's do this. Put breakpoints here. This is what we want to see. Okay. When I shoot this dude. Oh my goodness. Health change is not being called. Oh, that's because it's shielded? But when I get hit, I hit these breakpoints. Dude, this is not working the way we want it to. I do not... My understanding of what is happening here is not right. For sure. All of this can go away. I think the core root of the problem is what we had before. We can compile and save this. We can... Where's this? What am I accessing that's not right? Okay, and then the hero shooter mannequin up here. Okay, that's bogus, that's bogus. That's bogus. I'm not doing that. We're getting rid of this widget. We're going back to 0. Here's why. Our core understanding is wrong. Because when I shoot him, when I shoot the enemy, it never hits our breakpoints. Also, we've broken something to the point where we no longer even see the health bar. Oh wait, maybe that's it. If we go to screen space, do we see the health bar? Yeah. Okay. But the problem is, it's not his health bar. This is the okay, so this has got to be the fundamental problem, okay? The fact that when I do damage to that character, it does not hit our breakpoint. But when I do damage to me, if I get this dude to shoot me, there we go, shield changed. So we are not, this is not set up proper. This component, this health bar component that is being attached is not unique. I think all we're doing here is we're adding a copy. So yeah, I believe it's a total duplicate of our health bar. It's exactly what I believe is happening. So let's do this. Yeah, exactly. So let's do this. Let's make a new widget. Let's make a completely new widget. I'm gonna call it widget user widget. What kind of widget do we want here? Let's just make a widget. Yeah, let's call this enemy health. Alright, and let's just do some really fast UI work. Double click on this. Pretty sure I created the wrong thing because there's no designer here. User interface widget blueprint. User widget blueprint, enemy health. There we go. Now we have a designer. Okay, and let's add in progress bar. Let's just drop in a progress bar real quick. Let's make it sort of curiosity. How big is the health bar? .456 by 32. Okay. Let's do custom. Okay. And I think desired. Oh, they're using desired. Alright, so let's go desired. Desired. And that's our progress bar. We want to wrap this in I believe an overlay. So let's just right click on this and wrap with an overlay. Is this the one that lets us size this? Nope. Let's wrap that with a size box. Okay, so width override 456 32. Let's just do the same thing. Do 456 and 32. Okay, so this is a progress bar. Okay, compile and save that. And what we're going to do is in our shooter mannequin, we're going to change this to be our enemy health. So now when we play, There's a giant bar over our enemy. We agree, that's working. I mean, not awesome, but it's there. Oh, it's so good. Okay, cool. So with our enemy health bar, I want to do some basic stuff. I want to see what we have access to. So let's get the owner. These are all the same things. Why is this going to be any different than the problems we're having with our health bar? Alright, so we've added a variable to our widget, which can we now set? See, we can't even cast this to an enemy health bar. Nope. Hit the widget. Cast. Oh, okay. Look, we found it. Oh, we found it. We found it. Okay, let's go back. So the Japa is just the job. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Is asking what game are we creating right now? We're creating a third person. It's not really a shooter, but it is a shooter. But it's a third-person character game, PvE. But did you see that, Loster? What just happened? I'm not sure if you saw that. But what we're going to do is we're going to switch this back to the health bar. Okay? And then from that, we're going to get the widget. Alright? And then from that, we're going to get the... No, we're going to... set. Oh, but we deleted those variables. Let's bring them back. Let's come back in here to our graph, and what we want to do is add a variable. And the variable we want to add, for now, let's just add the Lyra character. Okay. And it is a Lyra character, and we're going to make it instance editable and expose on spawn. And then what we're going to do back in here with this is we're going to cast this to the health. Look at that. There's our health bar. Oh my gosh. Okay, so as health bar, let's set the Lyra character to our owner, but it's not a Lyra character. Interesting. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's change that from... Okay, so what happened was, yeah, it's a really good question. I didn't change anything. What happened was, from the widget, I dragged off of the widget component, and I get the widget, and then I can cast it. Because this is returning a widget component object reference. But what we actually need is the user widget object reference. So from the widget component object, we get the widget, then that I can cast to the health bar, and then that will allow me to set this. But rather than setting it to Lyra character, let's set this to an HWZ AI controller object reference. Compile and save that. And then we'll go back to our shooter mannequin, and we'll grab this, and rather than setting, it's misleading to call that Lyra character, we'll fix that later. Okay, so we're gonna do this. What? let's do this. Okay. Now, compile and save that. Now let's go back to our printing. Yeah, who knew they were different things? How much fun is this, right? Okay, so from here, let's just change this to HWZ AI controller, just for clarity. Okay, so I don't like any of this, right? Because I don't believe that this is actually the owning player. So what I want to do is, let's get a reference. Let's do this. Where'd my, if we get this and we do is valid on this. All right, and then we can get the display name like we were doing before. Then we can print that like we were doing before. I know this seems like a roundabout way of doing this. So what's going to happen is we're going to come in here. If we're not valid, we're going to keep doing what we were doing. If we are valid, we're going to print our display name. And let's append so we can see some fun stuff. And let's make it not blue. Let's make it green. And we'll make it 4 seconds so we can actually see it. All right, so now when we play, what? Where's the error? Why is that an error? Wait, that just compiled that time. Interesting. B hero shooter mannequin illegally references HWZAI controller BP. It's interesting that that's an illegal reference. Alright, well let's see if it's plays. I have a feeling that's because of our game features. Look at that, HWZAI controller BP. Finally. Okay. This is still not gonna work though, because we haven't actually done any of the work to make sure it's using that instead. So what we want to do these are on possess pawn change, initialize bar visuals, finding the health component. This is the pawn. So we actually want the pawn, not, wait, is the pawn the AI controller? We're gonna rename this one more time. We're gonna rename this to controlled pawn. And we're going to change this to pawn object reference. Pawn object reference. Change the variable type. Okay, now all this is going to be bogus. We're going to feed this into the display name. We're not going to do any casting, we're just getting the pawn. And then let's go back to here, and rather than doing this, this is returning an after reference. I don't think we need. Oh, does this still work? controlled pawn. Controlled pawn comes from try self. Technically compile. Oh no. Is that gonna compile? Okay. Be hero shooter mannequin 1. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So I think we're making progress. So in here, rather than using this controlled pawn, I think I want to use this one. Get owner. That's gonna get an actor. That's a player controller object reference. Bind event to on possessed on change. Possessed. There it is. So that's it. I think that's it. I think this is what we want. So from here, can we just do this? Nope. Does not like that. Let's just say that this is the controlled pawn. And let's get the controller. I know we're over time, but I'm hoping this may break all health bars. Do we have any other references to controlled pawns and owners? Nope. Okay, let's see if we broke everything. We have a health bar. It is 0. Look at that, Lobster. Look at that. Oh, jeez Louise. That was the most painful. Okay, we got lots of problems though. We got lots of problems, but dude, we made some progress. Okay, so let's try to recap this. Okay, so what is happening now is when I shoot the enemy now, the enemy's health and shield is actually changing, which is what we want. My health and shield is completely busted. we moved the problem. Yay, Lyra. We moved the problem, but at least our theory is correct, right? We were spawning the same health bar for both characters. And so now we just got to figure out oh, I know how to fix this. I know how to fix this. Okay. So what we want to do is this. I think we need to make a double track. All right, we're gonna delete all this stuff just for clarity reasons. Okay. If this is valid, we want, let's do this. We're gonna do this. I think we can fix both of these here. Okay, so if it's valid, we're gonna run through this loop here, right? Let's clean this up. Okay, and if it's not valid, and then this event that we're gonna bind is here. Okay, and if it's not valid, we're gonna do this the old way. and we're gonna connect in this and this. I believe this is how it was before. Just see. Oh, look at that. I have health and the enemy has health. Now, here's the test. Their health, their shield was affected when I shot them, which is great. Their health is affected when I shoot them. Also good. Now let's see what happens if I get shot. How did he miss the second shot? I didn't even move. This dude is a bad shot. Come on. There we go. Dude, we got it. And my health bar is different than his health bar. Oh my goodness. We saved this at the last minute. Okay. Because we're over, I think that is, like, at the last minute we got in the buzzer beater. I think that that is a good place to kind of take a break. And let's go through a wrap up. So, it looks like we have enemy health bars maybe, which is cool. It sort of works. We after an hour and 20 minutes, we finally got to the first small step, which is okay. As always, Loster, thanks for being here and helping be a sounding board, and Japa, thanks for hopping in. So what we're gonna do next time, what's left over, is, pending no questions or anything like that about game dev in general and everything like that, is, so we have health bars, we have enemy health bars now. It would be great to figure out how we broke the health bars so that they're not normalized anymore. So basically, as our health goes down from 200, you notice that the UI wasn't going down until it got to 100. So we'll want to fix that. And then maybe even duplicate the health bar and remove the numbers for the enemies, because I don't know how important those are. It's a lot of visual clutter, right? And I think we're going to really want to simplify that, because when we have a bunch of enemies on screen, that is going to be, it's a whole lot of numbers flying around the screen. So I think we'll probably simplify the health bar. We're going to fix the normalized feedback of the health bar as well. And then there's also that problem that we're having where I believe in our game feature plugins, we're actually referencing the HWZ game feature plugin in the shooter content, and the two aren't nested. So probably have to dig into that a little bit, but yet another, good hour of stumbling through Lyra and the minds behind it. Like I said at the very beginning, hopefully in the end of all of this stumbling, converting this project over to the Lyra way of thinking will be good. But right now it's just all kinds of stumbling. So sweet. I hope you all have an awesome week, and I will see you all Sunday night or Wednesday morning, whatever works best for you. Have a good one.